Are we live? Oh, good. We are live. Hi, I'm here at Fringewood Park this morning. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a skating rink behind me, another volunteer-run skating rink, and a new skating rink this year. Actually, Fringewood had a skating rink for a number of years here at the park, but they took a break for a few years. Volunteers have established a rink here this year, and hopefully it's a tradition that will continue for the years to come. All of the outdoor rinks that you see in Stittsville are run entirely by volunteers. They build the rinks, they shovel the rinks, they flood the rinks, and are we ever thankful this year with the pandemic? We all want to get outside and have some exercise. It's great to have all these local rinks. So thank you to the volunteers at Fringewood Park and every other park in the neighborhood for maintaining the rinks this year. It is a super bright, sunny day. I've had a bunch of things. Let's see. Where do we start? Okay, I'm going to start with snow. I'm driving around the neighborhood this morning and there's a lot of snow, a lot of large snowbanks. I want to thank people for your patience. The city crews cleared this very big snowfall that we had early in the week. A couple notes, we had some issues with snow clearing around school zones, sidewalks in particular. We've talked to the roads team and I've really emphasized it's a priority to get those sidewalks in front of schools cleared as quickly as possible. We found one over in Jackson Trails where for some reason the sidewalks were at the end of the route. They take a higher priority on sidewalks in front of schools. Now I'm also noticing a lot of really tall snowbanks at the end of driveways, at the corner of intersections. Over the next few days and in a couple of weeks, the city is going to be bringing the big crews of snow blowers and dump trucks. This is something they do usually 2 times over the course of the season to cart away the large amounts of snow. So they'll be out in Stittsville neighborhood soon. If there's an intersection or a real safety issue that you see in your neighborhood, you can flag that right away by calling 311, and the city will send out crews just to chop off the top of the snowbanks where there's a significant sight issue for traffic. But call 311 for that. Let's see. Okay, last week I said that like 90% of the work we do in the office could be solved with just a little bit of courtesy and common sense from people. So a couple examples here. This is things like picking up after your dog, not speeding through school zones, not parking where in front of driveways, things like that, common sense things. It's amazing how many calls we get that fall into this category. So here's a few. Toboggan hills. Don't toboggan into a ravine. We have an issue over on at Rouncy Park where folks are going down the toboggan hill towards the ravine rather than the other side. I guess maybe it's a more exciting route, but ravines, stormwater management ponds, these are not safe surfaces for water. They might look frozen or they might have a thin layer of ice, but it's not safe to be tobogganing or skating on these ravines, stormwater management ponds, and so on. So please stay off of those. We also had a request from one of the landowners, one of the farmers just west of Stittsville along the Trans-Canada Trail, to please stay on the trail. Don't ski or snowshoe or walk your dog on private property. There's liabilities for the owners, not to mention it's trespassing. We need to respect other people's property. So please make sure that you're sticking to the trails and paying attention to fences and no trespassing signs. It would be greatly appreciated if we can get your cooperation on that. Let's see. Oh, some updates. So the city's going to be doing some snow clearing on bridges over the Queensway. This weekend, for example, they're doing the bridge at Castlefrank. It'll mean some lane closures on the Queensway because whenever they clear snow off of these bridges, there's a risk that the snow's going to fall onto the Queensway. So just expect some road closures on the Queensway in both directions this weekend near Castlefrank. Some city updates. OC Transpo. This week we had an update on how ridership is going, how LRT repairs and updates are going. On the LRT front, things are going very well in terms of stability for the system. The reliability over the past few months has been very, very good, the best that we've ever seen. So it does look like they're on the right track, pardon the pun. On OC Transpo ridership is up so far in February. In January, ridership was around 18%. It's up to 21% so far in February, and likely as the shutdown has ended, we'll see more ridership. There's more ridership in the core of the city than in the suburbs. There's more ridership towards things like schools, hospitals, places of essential work. I know in Stittsville, I do try to have a look when I see buses going by, when I see there's still people at the bus stops. There are still people taking the buses, obviously not as many, but it's still important as an essential service that we make buses available and provide that bus service. We are doing so on the assumption that the federal government is going to backstop the funding that we're losing because we don't have as many people paying fares. We don't have the same revenue coming into OC Transpo. We're going to get confirmation in the next few weeks how that is continuing in 2021. And next month at Transit Commission in March, we're going to be getting an update on the budget situation. And we could be looking at some service changes, some service cuts if we're not confident either that the ridership is going to continue to go up this year or that we won't be getting that backstop funding from the federal government and or the provincial government. It's a pretty serious issue. I know we've had a lot of people contact us asking why buses are continuing. Buses are an essential transportation service for people who work in essential places in Ottawa. So it's very important that we provide that service, but I also understand we can't do so if we're continuing to lose money. So we have some pretty difficult conversations coming up over the next 6 weeks or so on that, and I'll keep you posted. Western Ottawa Community Resource Centre has issued a call for board members. I served on this board a few years ago. It was a very rewarding experience. They provide social services, community support services all over Stittsville, Canada, West Carleton, and a little bit into Nepean as well. If you are interested in joining the board, there's information on their website, Western Ottawa Community Resource Centre. On Monday, Monday evening, we have a meeting about Hazeldean Crossings. This is a new development at Hazeldean and Victor. It's an information meeting with the builder and their contractors. They're going to be talking about the construction schedule and potential impacts to residents. So if you live in the Amberway neighborhood, that's one you should attend. Also, there's going to be a road closure on Victor Street starting March 2nd. The Hazeldean Crossings development, they need to connect services and utilities, water and sewer and so on, underneath Victor Street. Now, originally they wanted to shut down Victor Street entirely for 3 weeks, and I said that's not okay. It's a huge inconvenience to residents to close it entirely, and also a safety issue because we would lose access to the signals at Hazeldean and Victor. So we've gone back to them and worked out a new plan. They're going to keep the northbound lane of Victor open at all times. We're also going to have a signal person there to ensure pedestrian safety and ensure that we don't have any issues with traffic flow and safety and so on. Anyways, we will talk about that on Monday, but there's also a lot of information on my website, glengower.ca. The library reopens on Monday. Not quite full services, but you'll be able to go inside. You'll be able to browse the shelves. You'll be able to book a computer. So the library is reopening on Monday. This is a good thing. On vaccines, we got an update from the provincial government that people over 80 years of age will be added to the higher priority list for vaccines. If you follow the news, the shipments coming into Canada have been going up again, which is a good thing. And Ottawa is all set to, as soon as we have the vaccine supply, to set up a broader range of ways that the general public can get the vaccine. The best way to describe it would be the vaccines are going to be available much in the same way that the flu shot is available. So at community clinics, at pharmacies, through your local family doctor, there'll be some special mobile clinics. So there's a massive rollout plan for the vaccines once they are available. Right now, there's a lot of work being done at retirement homes and with essential healthcare workers. There was a center at the Wabano Center downtown for Indigenous elders. So focusing on the highest priority groups, folks who are most at risk from COVID-19. And those vaccines, once we get them, they're getting into the arms of people in our community as quickly as possible. I saw the Wild Pine residents in Stittsville. It's the latest Stittsville retirement home to get it. So we're making a lot of progress on retirement homes in the city, which is a good thing. We're getting another update on Wednesday at City Council from Dr. Etches and Tony DeMonte. Dr. Etches with Ottawa Public Health, Tony DeMonte with the city's emergency services, and they're part of the task force for vaccine distribution. So I'll share some updates out of that meeting later on in the week on my website and social media. I think that's all that I wanted to cover. I had a lot written on my little card today. Just want to remind everybody to continue continue wearing a mask, continue hand washing, continue limiting your contacts with people outside of your household. We need to keep working hard to keep the transmission rates for COVID. Please support your local businesses of this week, most of them, and they need your help. They need your support. Also, want to remind everyone to be patient and courteous and thoughtful about your neighbors. We're all struggling. We're all working hard to make it through this, and let's extend some kindness and patience to our fellow residents here in Stittsville. Hope you have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you again next Saturday. I'll talk to you next Saturday. Hope you get out to enjoy the great weather today. Have a good weekend.